If you want to generate leads with Facebook ads, you can either use some best practices that I'm going to share with you in this video, or you can throw a bunch of money into the throat of Zuckerberg without getting any qualified leads. The biggest problem with Meta ads or Facebook ads is typically that you're just seeing trash leads that have no intent, you cannot reach them, that don't show up on sales calls, and that are even not the ideal client you are looking for. And the root cause of this problem is that your targeting is off. But now you might be wondering how to target the right people. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you in this video. Because targeting doesn't work like it worked 3 to 5 years ago, when you could just add precise interests and behaviors in the ad set, and then Meta will target exactly these people. Right now, everyone recommends that you need to go with broad open targeting, but for lead generation, that's a big problem because then you're getting just the wrong people in your funnel. And I figured this out the hard way, trying to get high-level decision makers, business owners, etc. into my funnel, but I just ended up having broke people, fake leads, and people who will never ever be able to buy from me because they simply don't have the money. So one spoiler alert: if you cannot afford to spend a minimum of 1,500 euros, dollars or pounds per month on Meta ads to figure it out and make your funnel work, then better don't do it. Because that's the investment you need in order to train the algorithm, to find the right people, to learn how to convert leads into paying clients, because only then you will get the ROI and the revenue you are looking for. Only leads or clicks are worth nothing. You need to be able to convert them into paying clients. And that's exactly the biggest problem I found while watching a lot of videos on YouTube about how to generate leads with Facebook ads. Because most advice is too general, or other specific advice is not made for high-ticket B2B or B2C when you need to generate leads that actually convert into paying clients, because most strategies are just made for e-commerce. All right, so now I told you what you should pay attention to and what really matters if you really want to generate revenue and ROI from Meta ads. Now let me give you the process and the exact steps to implement a high converting lead generation funnel that actually makes you money and not just burns your money. So the first and most important component of your funnel is actually your positioning, which means to which type of person you want to sell to. These are the people you want to get leads for, and which offer you have so that they are interested in learning more, booking a call, and then ultimately working with you. If you don't nail this, you can do whatever you want, all the marketing tricks won't work because you didn't get the fundamentals right. And then the algorithm and all the messaging hacks and the tweaks in your ad set, nothing will be effective, nothing will work if you don't really nail your positioning. So which type of person you want to get as a lead and which offer you have so that these people are interested in giving you their contact information in exchange for the offer. So there are typically two types of offers that work pretty well. One is a direct offer and the other one is a lead magnet. So the first direct offer is what I recommend, because if you just promote free stuff, then you get people who want free stuff. But these people are not necessarily those people you want because they will never buy. It's like if you've ever been to an exhibition and you see these people running around and collecting free gifts, right? They just want free gifts. They will never ever buy something from your business. Okay, and that's what we want to avoid, because when you get these people in and they show up in your result column in the Meta Ad Manager, then the algorithm will optimize to get you more of these people. And you will never be able to convert them into paying clients, so you will never make revenue, and so you will never see an ROI because the algorithm is optimizing for the wrong people. So the first thing you need to really make sure is that you are crystal clear about which type of people you want and which offer you want to advertise. So if you have a direct result offer, that's cool. Typically it has the format, what you are doing in which timeline, and then what's the outcome. And maybe if you have a guarantee, then also claim the guarantee. For example, we built a profitable automated sales funnel for your business in 30 days, and we guarantee you get a 2x ROI in 90 days, or we work for free. That would be a result promise offer, okay? A lead magnet is more like, the 7 steps to build a highly profitable sales funnel using Facebook ads. That could be a lead magnet offer. Now, for the lead magnet, it's very important that it's as close as possible to your core offer, which is typically your result promise offer. But if you don't have a sexy or attractive core offer, then you should better advertise a lead magnet to get the interest of people. If your core offer is, for example, too broad and you just say, we are doing digital marketing, or we are building a sales funnel, or we are experts in, like, you see the pattern. It doesn't matter what you do. If you communicate with we are, we do, stop, because nobody's interested in that. People are just interested in what they get. So you need to communicate a result, no matter if you choose to work with a core offer and advertise this, or if you advertise a lead magnet. So if you choose the lead magnet, it should be very close to your core offer. That's why I typically recommend either giving away the first implementation step of your core offer for free, okay? But it should be something that is of high value, a free strategy call. Like, everyone knows it's a sales call and people don't want it, right? They are not even willing to spend 30 or 45 minutes of their time for a free strategy call where they know they get just pitched, okay? That's no value. You should rather look at something that people want, not what you need to do in order to deliver the service or to complete the first step, but something your clients actually want. Offer this. Even if it's the most valuable thing in your entire delivery process, they will never get the whole result if they are missing out on the other steps. So offer the most valuable thing of your core offer as a lead magnet. That's typically good advice because it will attract the right people who are very close to your core offer. So that's one thing. And when you implement this strategy, when you advertise your result promise offer or your core offer, make sure that you first call out the right people. You should always make it very clear in the beginning who the right people are that should pay attention. That could be, for example, if you are an agency owner with minimum 20K revenue per month and you are looking to automate your growth. Okay, so that is making very clear that it's for agency owners with a minimum of 20K revenue per month. So early engagement, people who watch this video at the beginning, signal to the algorithm that these are the right people. Now, of course, people who don't have 20K in revenue per month could also continue watching the video and signal a wrong intent or a wrong person to the algorithm. That's why we need to filter them out later on a gatekeeper form. But we will get to this point in a minute. So that's what you do first, okay? You state clearly for whom it is. It can also be on an image, by the way, or carousel ads work very well for this. If you, on the first slide, mention for whom it is, and on the second slide, you just mention your offer, your direct result offer or your lead magnet offer. So now, as you got this right, and that's actually your positioning, you can test this easily with an instant form. And on the instant form, it's very important what you are saying on the headline and on the description. And it depends on what you advertise in your ads, if it's the result promise offer or the lead magnet. So if you go with a result promise offer, what are people typically interested in when you advertise a direct offer? Well, it's how much does it cost? How does it work? Which ROI can I expect? And case studies. So these 4 things are typically good next step offers if you advertise a result promise offer. So then if you advertise a lead magnet, well, obviously you just mention the lead magnet and the result people can get when they use the lead magnet. Okay, that's very important. And then on the description of the instant form, you just communicate more benefits that they get once they move on, okay, when they fill the form. And the last sentence is just fill the form below to get access. Now, the form should use conditional logic to filter out the wrong people and only count the right people as a lead. Because remember what I told you earlier, if you get in the wrong leads and Meta sees these as leads, then Meta says, hey, well, these are the leads you want. So you get more shitty leads because the algorithm will optimize for these leads. So that's why you need to ask some questions that filter out people with the wrong attributes. So what are attributes? Attributes are quantifiable or at least clearly identifiable attributes of a person where a person could say yes or no or categorize themselves with the answer to a multiple choice question. So that's typically not just a yes or no question because people have been trained in the past that when they say no, they don't get the result, okay? They have been disqualified. Especially on meta ads, people are used to this. So you ask an open-ended question with multiple choice. For example, if you only want to work with business owners in a specific industry, let's say plumbers, the first option is we sell plumber services. The second option is we sell IT services. Third option is something else, okay? And only the first option qualifies the leads, while the other two options disqualify the lead. Now, the next one is if you want plumbers with a minimum of 20K revenue per month, then you are now asking for the revenue and you give them all options, not just the options you want to see, because this will force them to lie. And then you just get people who gave you a wrong answer because you forced them to select the wrong answer, and these are wrong people. Okay, so you also allow saying, I have no revenue, I just started. And then you say, okay, my revenue is less than 10K. And then you say, my revenue is 11 to 20K. And then you say, my revenue is 21 to 50K, etc. Okay, and you qualify and disqualify people that match your ideal target persona or not, then they are disqualified. Now, once you did that right, the algorithm optimizes for the right people because you only count the right people as a lead. Now, the next step on the thank you page is that you give them a next step offer that has scarcity and urgency on the thank you page of the instant form, which means you're saying something like, important last step, if you want fast results, book your free discovery call where and then you should say what you are doing on the call and which result they can expect on the call. And you make it very clear that it's only possible to book this call for free right here on this form. And then obviously you shouldn't also promote it on your website because otherwise you are lying and you don't want other people to lie, so you should lie, okay? Always stick with the truth. So the next step on the thank you page, you give them a button with a link, and that typically leads to a calendar, just Calendly or like a HubSpot calendar widget or a calendar widget on Go High Level. So now people can book a call. And that's actually the next step, okay? We start with a low friction entry offer, which is just signing up for the lead magnet or signing up for an offer document that reveals pricing, like expected ROI, implementation process, case studies, etc. And then after this, once you capture the lead, the next step is allowing people to book a call, okay? And that's how you start the sales process. Those people who don't book a call, you will call them because you have their contact information. And here's one important thing. When you have the form where they fill in their contact information, you should filter people with fake phone numbers, because then the algorithm will optimize for fake leads if you don't filter for this. There is a setting in the instant form that allows you to let people verify their phone number with an SMS verification code. And if you want B2B leads, then you need to verify the work email. Also, instant forms allow this, not in all accounts yet, but in most accounts. So this will significantly increase your lead quality. And that's actually everything you need to really test your positioning and see if you are getting the right people in. Then, of course, there's a lot more to do after a person became a lead or booked a call, but that's your sales closing process. And you should always follow rule number 1, which is provide value during the sales process. Provide value during the marketing process, because otherwise you get no leads. If you just talk about who you are and what you do, or you just speak in general terms without being specific about for whom it is and what it is that you sell and the outcome people can expect, then you will never get leads. And the same applies to your sales calls. I have that case in some scenarios where people tell me, yeah, I get people on a call, but then they ghost me on the second call. Well, why does this happen? Because it's the wrong people? No, obviously not. It's because you used the wrong words on the first call and people decided they don't want to engage with you. That's the root cause. So you always need to look at, okay, if your funnel is broken somewhere, ask yourself, why is this the case? And very often it's your message. And if the message is transported in your ads or your message is transported in your sales call or in your first discovery call, then obviously that's the root cause why people stop engaging with you. All right, so it's definitely not a problem of your marketing. It's not a problem of your ads. If people ghost you after the first call, it's a problem of your messaging on the first call. All right, so that's why it's important to track your KPIs. Now you know the steps. So a person sees your ad, they click the ad, then they see your instant form with the next step offer, and then they can book a call. And then on the first call, they might show up or not. On the second call, they might show up or not, and then they might buy or not. So these are exactly the conversion steps in your entire funnel. You need to track them so that you see KPIs with green and red light colors showing you exactly the weakest part in your funnel so that you can optimize it based on precise diagnosis instead of just doing random actions that keep you busy but never move the needle because you're just doing the wrong things. That's very important that you optimize your sales funnel if you want to generate leads with Facebook ads using data-driven methods. And actually, that's it. That's the whole magic. Your offer and your positioning is the most important part. How you qualify people is the second most important part. And to do this right, you need to know who the right people are, okay? Once you get leads with this, you cracked the hardest part, your positioning, and you validated it. Now you can build video ads that like wrap your offer in a more engaging message or in a more engaging format. You can add case studies to build more trust. You can set up retargeting to nurture people over time, because when people don't buy from you, it's simply because they don't trust you yet. And why should they trust you if they just saw your first ad and signed up for something? You are still a stranger. Now, what you should definitely do is you need to nurture them through email sequences, WhatsApp. Maybe you contact them on social media, maybe you call them, and maybe you also set up retargeting, because this will allow people to gain trust over time. And you can do this with a high degree of automation if you do it with retargeting or automated email sequences. Don't do the one mistake most people do. Don't hammer them with just like stuff you want them to do. Give them value. This will move them forward automatically. Okay, people move because they trust you, and they trust you because they feel like you are authentic and you provide value in every touch point, instead of just telling them, hey, book a call, book a call, book a call with me, right? Nobody wants that. So lead with value. That's a very important rule from the first contact down to the purchase. Now, if you feel you got value from this, then give me a like and subscribe. I will create more videos about how to generate high quality leads and clients using Facebook ads in the future. No e-commerce, just high ticket lead generation. For example, if you are an agency owner or software development business owner, if you have a high ticket SaaS business, or if you are a coach or consultant selling high ticket services, then this is the right channel for you, and there will be more future videos. If you don't want to wait until the next video gets published, then just go to the channel. There are a lot more videos about lead generation on Facebook. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Cheers and happy scaling.